To this day, I believe, had we not put that vocal on it, I think it still would have gone to number one. This is the Shapeshifters, and this is the story of Lola's theme. How did I come to meet Max and start the Shapeshifters? Well, part of that earlier journey, I'd started to meet people through doing the club and stuff, and I was asked to work for Journeys by DJ. So I was kind of juggling to see what I wanted to be in the music business. I started doing some A&R work, and part of that process, I went to Sweden because I'd heard about these two guys in Sweden who were producing this great stuff, and one of them was Max. I said, look, I'm going to start my label, Nocturnal Groove, with my ex-wife Lola. And let's just go in the studio and see what happens. And we were in my living room in Maida Vale, and Lola was just playing some old records. And one of those records was Johnny Taylor, What About My Love? And obviously I knew this record from before, but it was something about when she put it on the turntable and that first 16 bars played. I hadn't heard it in that way before. That first 16 bars played, and I was like, oh. And I walked over to the deck, and I remember picking up the needle, starting it again, and I put it on +3 to 4. And I was like, okay. And I literally rang Max and said, we're going in the studio tomorrow, I've got an idea. And that's how it started. I knew I needed a vocal hook to kind of take the instrumental to another level. So I basically took one phrase and twisted that phrase, cut it up, and made a completely new phrase out of it, which is I'm a different person, turn my world around. If you listen to the original Anthony White, you'll hear it exactly the same words in a completely different way. But it worked. There was that obvious conversation of, we need to put a vocal on this for radio, which is always the obvious conversation. And I didn't really want to do it, is the honest answer. To this day, I believe, had we not put that vocal on it, I think it still would have gone to number one. But we did, and I think we just put feelers out there as to someone, and then, names get banded around, and then few people come in to try in the studio, and Cookie came in, and she was perfect. We originally promoted that record in November 2003, and I pressed up 500 labels, and it was just a simple black and white label with a phone number on it. And that phone number was attached to an answer machine, very old school. And we came back from America, the answer machine was full of distributors, record shops, labels, friends, whatever, all just clamoring for more. Pressed up another 1,000. That 1,000 went out straight away. I purposely left the market dry through January to March because I knew that Miami was coming. So we all went to Miami, Winter Music Conference 2004. You could hear that record being played everywhere. And it was at that point I was like, okay, something's going on with this now. The first person, and the person I wanted to sign that record, was Simon Dunmore. And I remember going into his office in Derby Street at the time and saying, I've done this. And he passed. And I was like, okay, no worries. True story. The Brits had just got rid of the dance music category the year before. So then we were lumped in with the Best British Single Awards, which is great. At the time, you had the whole Dance is Dead campaign with Tim Lovejoy, all that horribleness about dance music at the time. So they were never, ever going to let that record win, even though we outsold all of them. And probably from a Nielsen radio point of view as well, we outplayed all of them. So am I bitter about it? Yes, just a little bit. It's funny with Top of the Pops, we did it 3 times, which was quite unusual to do at the time. They did the first and only, as far as I'm aware, live broadcast from outside of the Top of the Pops studio, and they did that in Gateshead, which was amazing. And I can't remember, was that the Christmas special? Do you know what? I actually can't remember. But the fact is, we all grew up watching Top of the Pops. To be on Top of the Pops was pretty mind-blowing.
Did you have a good time?
Okay,
We'll be back next week from 7:30.
to play us out is the shapeshifters of the summer anthem. It's Lola's theme.
Bye.
Hey everybody! Push it in here, like. 2, 3, 4.
Did I get bored of playing Lola's theme? I'm not gonna lie, yes, but it's one of those where I kind of leave it for a little while and then keep coming back to it. But the other thing is that then I'd hear Dennis Salter play it, Melee play it, Marco Carola play it, this one, that one, still playing that record, and it kind of, you're gonna go, shit, actually, yeah, I should still be playing this record. And then I'd be at gigs and some people would say, why didn't you play that record? I mean, I'm still very, very proud of it. I'm still very proud that people connect with it to this day, and new audiences connect with it to this day. So yeah, but you have to understand, I've been playing this record a long time.